Are you an avid hiker or walker? Maybe you're training for a long hike, you're looking for some stretches you can do out on the trail, or you're home from a hike and you really need to stretch it out, then this class is for you. Let's ditch your pack and jump onto your mat. Alright hikers, let's go ahead and get into puppy pose to start. So definitely after a long day of hiking or just preparing for hiking, we want to make sure that we're stretching out through our upper back, our chest, our shoulders. So stacking the knees over the hips, walking the elbows forward and melting your heart down towards your mat, resting your forehead on the floor. Maybe turning your thumbs to the roof here if that feels better for your shoulders. And really aiming to melt right between your shoulder blades. And this feels so good if you've been carrying a heavy pack for a long period of time. So this might even be a posture that you want to take during one of your rest stops if you're out for a long go. Good. Slowly come on out of that position and just let yourself sit back into child's pose, just resting here for a couple of breaths. You shift your bum back, bring your forehead back down. Just let your arms be gentle, softly bend. Good, and then slowly coming up. So it's always really important that not only are we stretching our muscles for hiking, but also we want to make sure that the muscles through our shoulders and our upper back and core are really nice and strong if we're going to be carrying any kind of weight. So it's not just about stretching, it's about strengthening as well, but that's a whole other practice. So if you have a small cushion, you may want it for the next posture, just because we're going to be kneeling, but I'll leave that up to you. So you're going to put your right knee down on the ground and step your left leg forward to come into a nice low lunge here. Let your hips sink forward as you scoot your tailbone under, really opening up through the front of the hip. And then if you find that you want a little bit deeper of a stretch from here, bring your hand to your shoulder or raise that hand up over your head, and you can start to come in to a bit of a back bend as well. So just gauging how tight you are along that chain, which option or variation you're going to take. But it's completely fine just to leave your hand right on your thigh here. Again, the hips tend to get really tight with a lot of hiking. If you're going uphill, you're really using your hip flexors. Of course, if you're going downhill, you're putting the brakes on all the time. Again, getting those hip flexors pretty tight. And then if you are carrying a pack load, that extra weight is going to demand extra increase activity through the hip flexors. And if you notice when you're hiking, especially if it's heavy and you're starting to get tired, you tend to round your back and tuck forward a little bit, and that's why the upper back and the hips can get so tight and so sore. So we really want to stretch them out good here. And you could definitely come back and do these postures several times throughout the day to really help keep things loose and moving well. Good, and as we come down from low lunge, just transitioning into lizard. So bring your hand to the floor, walk your left foot off just to the edge of your mat, and then let your knee wander out to the side. And when you're here, gently pushing, just a little bit of gentle pressure on the knee, and it's not moving the knee, it's really just opening through your hip joint. And then you can start to turn, just find a little baby twist here as you rotate and look up towards the ceiling. This is gonna not only give your back a little bit of a twist, open the hips a little bit more, get a little bit of a stretch through your groin. Perfect. Come on back to the center, and we're going to switch sides. Making sure that you want to take a nice big step forward so that your knee and your ankle are stacked one on top of the other. As we move into that low lunge, making sure our hips are dropping forward here. And if you're not feeling a strong enough stretch, we want to split the legs more. So slide the back leg further back. And then decide if you want to add a little bit more extension into your stretch. Where is it enough for you? Making sure that you're not bringing yourself past your end point. And really, if we kind of find that end point where it just starts to get a little bit tricky in the stretch, even back off just a tiny bit from there. Because remember, you're looking for your muscles to relax here. So sometimes what happens is people push way too hard, and they end up not really getting much relaxation through the tissue. Everything just tightens up so they don't hurt themselves. And oftentimes people who are quite athletic, that can be kind of your go-to, is to push really hard. So know if that's you, ease back, maybe even a little bit more. As we relax and just let your body rest and sink here. Go ahead and let's come on down into lizard stretch, walking the toes over a little bit, just giving your body a little bit more room to find that twist, to let the hips drop open a little bit more. Of course, we don't want to put ourselves in any place that's painful, so if something feels painful for you, stop, readjust, change the stretch, modify. And I do a lot of hiking, and I've really found that yoga has been that thing that's really kept me on the trail, kept me going, injury-free, feeling great. So if you're not a regular yogi and you're just tuning into the channel today because this caught your eye, definitely making this part of your regular practice. So using these stretches every day, before you go hiking, while you're out on the trail, when you come back, can really make a difference with your mobility so that you're fit and ready to hike. Good. And then come on back. We can just hop on out of that stretch. You can just put your cushion off to the side. Good. We're going to come into downward facing dog. And if you just want to pedal your feet a couple of times, move your hips around. Good, and then we're moving into revolve side angle. So lift your right leg up and step it all the way up to your hands. Boost it if it needs a little help getting there. You're gonna leave your left hand on the ground and then turn your right hand up to the roof. And with this stretch, you don't wanna let your knee flare out to the side like we did in lizard. You wanna pull it back nice and straight, really push through the back heel. And as you keep this knee tucked in tight, you should feel a big stretch right through your right buttock. And then of course that twist feels nice as well. If you were able to push your back heel to the floor, it means that your legs are too close together. Press into the floor, reach a little higher, make some space between your shoulder blades as well. Big deep breaths. Good, untwist. Stepping back to downward facing dog. Again, just pedal your feet a few times here, just let everything loosen up. Good, and then lift your left leg up. Stepping left leg up to the top or boost it there. Planting your hand, and then reaching your left arm up towards the roof. Just taking a few nice deep breaths here. And if your neck is tired or sore, you can always look down towards the ground here. That's completely fine. Pressing back through the heel. Excellent. Untwist. And then we can step back to downward facing dog. Again, just moving any way that feels good for you. Taking a couple of breaths in downward dog. And then let's slide on into pigeon stretch. Lift your right leg up again and bring your right knee near your right wrist. And you're going to walk the back leg as far back as you can and turn the back toes under. So these stretches you could do out on the trail as well. A little bit more challenging to get into pigeon sometimes with hiking boots on, but it can be done. And if you are somebody who takes your boots off mid-hike, maybe you're drying out your feet, or if you have to do any blister care, then that's a good time to do it as well while your boots are off. So you might want to spend a little bit of time in the top variation of pigeon. We're going to get a little stronger stretch through the front of our left hip in the upright position. As we go lower into pigeon, bring our upper body down, we'll get more of a stretch through the glute on the opposite side on the right side. So depending if more your glutes or your hip flexors feel sore or tight for you, that might drive where you want your body to spend more time here. Okay, I'm just kind of going to do about half and half, but as you move through the practice, really start to feel and listen to your body and give it what it needs. Good, and we'll come down to the bottom here. So in both positions, you're stretching both sides of the hip, but it's just a little more concentrated either up top or down below, depending on the position. As we come down here, you can relax your head and neck. So let your shoulders release, let your neck release here. Taking big, deep breaths, making sure that you're not clenching or squeezing your shoulder blades. Oh, that pigeon feels good. All right, let's climb on the pigeon, turn your back toes under, lift, and step away. Just give your legs a little shake here. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and get into position on the opposite side, bringing the left knee near the left wrist. As we walk the back leg back, remember our aim here is to bring our left butt cheek closer to the floor. We're not really trying to tip sideways to get there. We're trying to split the legs. And one of the reasons that this pigeon stretch is so fantastic for hikers or walkers is because you are splitting the legs, one leg forward, one leg back. And this is essentially the way we're using our muscles, the type of movement pattern we're in when we're walking or hiking, as we're splitting the legs forward, back, if you're climbing hills, that sort of thing. So this should be a position that you're quite comfortable in, that you feels really good for you, that you can sink your bum fairly close to the floor. If you're in this position right now and you're like, ooh, this is a really, really tough one for me, make this part of your regular routine. Your body will thank you. Good, let yourself come down towards the bottom here. Just resting a little bit more, relaxing through the upper body. And if you're looking for some additional prep work for hiking, I would definitely hit up my channel for some of the yin classes. The deep yin stretching, holding the positions a little bit longer will definitely help you improve your flexibility and your mobility a little bit more quickly, whereas today's practice is to get you prepped and to give you a nice stretch when you get home from the trail. But if you have extra time, spending some time doing some yin will definitely do your body some good. Perfect. We're going to climb back out of pigeon here, turn the back toes under, lift and step back. Just give everything a little bit of movement. Wonderful. And then go on ahead, get down on your mat, and just stretching your legs out in front of you. And I want you to take your legs a little bit farther forward. So feet together, knees open wide, but in a nice long diamond. So we're not bringing them in really, really close. Sit up nice and high on your sitting bones, your bum bones, and then let yourself relax and round forward as much or as little feels good for you. Try to bow your chin here so that you're releasing the tension in the fascia all the way from the back of the head right down through to your buttocks. And go easy here as you rest for a couple of breaths. You might find that you can sink down a little bit farther. Good, and slowly coming away from that diamond position. Just releasing everything along our back body. Bring your legs together. Maybe give them a little bit of a walkabout. And then we're going to get onto our backs. And here's where you may want to use a yoga block or a bolster if you have one. If you don't have one, then I'll get you to go into lying bound angle instead. So this is your option pose here, to put your feet together, knees open wide, and you're going to tuck your feet in closer this time, really as close as comfortable as to your groin will allow. Otherwise, we're going to move into supported bridge, so lifting the hips and then tucking the block underneath your back. And you don't want this to be in the bendy part of your back, you want it to be really just at that firm upper buttock area, or really just above your bum crack is where you want that block to be. And then dialing up or down your block, height-wise, depending on what's comfortable for you. You want to feel like it's giving you a boost, but not overlifting here where it's painful. And this is just going to give you a really nice passive stretch through the front of the hip flexors and relieve some tension in the lower back. And if after long hikes, if that is a place that is really sore, really tight for you, know that you could stay in this bridge position for really an extended period of time. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's all good. Taking nice deep breaths, making sure that you're not squeezing or tensing your buttocks muscles here. Just let everything relax. And let your legs really relax here. So not focusing on pointing your feet exactly forward, your knees exactly straight towards your toes. Just let your legs go in whatever direction is most comfortable for you. Legs might be more bent. You might feel good, you want to stretch them out more. Just let your body feel the way here. Perfect. And we're going to come out of bridge. So you're going to press into your feet, lift up a little bit, and then slide any props or any cushions out from underneath your back. And then either using your block or switching to something a little bit softer like a bolster or a pillow if you have one. And of course, this next posture can be done with no props at all and is really, really great out on the trail, especially if you're on a long hike and your legs are starting to get tired. It can really help re-energize you to keep going. So we're moving into waterfall pose. So if we're using a cushion, you're going to tuck it underneath your hips. And this just releases a little more tension through the lower back and gives you a little bit more height in your inversion. As we lift our legs up, getting comfortable here, just let your knees bend softly and let your whole body relax here. So whether you're using this in the middle of a long hike, definitely recommended, but absolutely for sure when you get back from a hike, this can really be the make or break difference, especially if you're doing day over day hikes where you're done hiking for today, but you got to put your pack back on tomorrow and you want your legs to be well rested and well recovered. Particularly great if anyone's got any knee issues maybe happening, if your feet are getting really sore, this can work wonders. It is, I can't say enough good things about using this posture mixed with hiking. Every single time I come back from a hike, I get into this position, and I would recommend staying here longer if you can. So if you're in a rush, just join with me today, but if you're able to stay here longer, just let the video play, spend a little bit more time here with your legs up, can make a huge, huge, huge difference in the way your body feels later today, and then of course the next day. Maybe you want to close your eyes here and just get a little deeper relaxation for the next few minutes. So like I mentioned, you can stay in this posture longer if you have the time. The longer you stay, the more benefits you're going to get. If you're ready to come out, just slowly sitting up, taking your time here. And just coming back to a comfortable seated place. I do really hope that you enjoyed today's class to get you prepped and ready or relaxed after a hike. Definitely check out my channel for some other videos, like and subscribe. I'm Tovah. Thanks for joining. Namaste.